YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with our Week 10 NFL score predictions and picks against the spread here every single Wednesday afternoon with this video. Straight up picks with the other members of the Goat House already up for this week. Those go up every Tuesday night. We also have power rankings and a lot more going on the channel. We'll have our updated playoff predictions soon here this week. We got you guys covered. Like, subscribe to notifications on. Any link you're looking for pinned in the comments. Our Twitter's down there, news, rumors, keeping you guys up to date on everything. Picks League and our sponsors, GLD Shop and Liquid IV. Discount code GOAT for either site. I'm rocking Max Crosby chain from the GLD Shop, made from real gold. Very affordable stuff, too. Code GOAT. They have NFL team pennants, NFL jerseys, like this Crosby one for different players. So check it out. Links pinned in the comments. To the score predictions for this week. Falcons-Panthers played Thursday Night Football. They played each other a couple weeks ago. It was a pretty close game. I'm not expecting anywhere near that amount of scoring again this time around. And the Panthers put some good things on tape. Bad things for the Panthers, good things for opponents, against the Bengals. So maybe the Falcons could be able to still be able to do some damage, offensively. But I think a lot of running clock on this one. I think Foreman has been ran well against the Falcons last time. They'll try to pound the football there and try to win the time of possession. The Falcons, they get Cordero Patterson back this time around, and Algier still running pretty well as well. So I think a lot of running the football. But I think the Falcons are going to pull away in this one, win 26-20. They are favored by 3. This could be a close one, though, because it's prime time in Carolina. It's just very difficult to trust the Panthers after that last game against the Bengals. That was a rough one, which the Falcons had a rough outing against the Bengals as well, I suppose. But, yeah, I'm going to trust the Falcons to bounce back here, get the job done. Got them winning 26-20 this week. Next game, Seahawks and Bucks. The Bucks are favored by 3. I see a lot of people picking the Bucks. I know Tom Brady, played pretty well at the end of last game, and there was some drops, but got his team back and won that game. Got some momentum on that last drive. Maybe they got momentum going forward. Maybe they got a spark here. Every time it feels like this year specifically, a team got that momentum, got that spark. They're going to get rolling next game and on. They don't. They struggle. So it's hard to trust anyone with this season. But the Bucks, even last game, they struggle. They have been struggling. The Seahawks are just plain and simple the better football team right now. Now, the better football team doesn't always win, every week here. But I'm going to trust the Seahawks a bit more here. They're getting better on defense. They play very well on offense. I think Kenneth Walker should have a solid day on the ground once again. I'm going to trust Geno Smith through the air. Again, the Bucks pass rush looked good last week at the Rams offense line, and Stafford have really been struggling. No Shaq Barrett could show up in a game like this one here. It's in Germany, obviously, so maybe anything can happen there. But surprise, Seahawks are underdogs by 3. Maybe Brady and the boys got some momentum, but I'm trusting the Seahawks a bit more in this one. I'm going to go with them in Germany, 24-20. Next game, Vikings and Bills. So yeah, last night we did our weekly picks. I said I was picking the Bills unless Josh Allen was out. So today here, Wednesday afternoon, I'm getting the feel. I'm not an injury expert here, but I'm just getting the feeling that Josh Allen's not going to play. They're saying day-to-day, didn't practice today, going to be limited all week, if that was the quote. So that's like the maximum. The Bills usually play it safe with injuries, safer than you would think, expect, or hope. You don't want to. Their plans to win a Super Bowl this year. You got an interesting elbow injury that nerves involved, so you don't want to risk that goal of winning the Super Bowl this year. So for all those reasons, I have the gut feeling that they won't play Josh Allen. If they do, I'm going to pick the Bills. But I'm going to take the Vikings, a Case Keenum revenge game in this scenario. And I have it pretty close, though. You think the Vikings should win? You would think they should win somewhat easily if Josh Allen's not playing. Still like the Bills' defense to be able to make some plays here. But I think the Vikings do just enough in that game, win by 6 if Josh Allen is out there. +4 right now. That, I think, it started at 7.5, if I remember correctly. It was a lot more than 4. So the line is starting to go down in the Vikings' favor. And it's maybe will continue to do that. So it is in Buffalo. But I'm going to say the Vikings 23-17 if Josh Allen plays. Expect a change for me there. So for right now, Vikings winning that game because that's the feeling I get. So interesting one. There's a lot of injuries we're kind of waiting to hear about in this week with this week's games here. We'll talk about more here coming forward. But Lions and Bears, I got a squeaker. The Bears are favored by 3. Yeah, I was bouncing back and forth. 3-point game, 2-1. I was kind of all in that range with this one. I'm going to squeaker 1-point game here. The Bears pulling through here, 27-26. Bears offense has really taken a step recently. The Lions defense has been the worst in football, but really picked it up last week. But I think Justin Fields on the ground will be a problem for the Lions, and even Montgomery and Herbert as well. And that's where the Bears will attack, and they'll probably run quite a bit of clock doing that. Lions, same thing. And then they want to use Jamal Williams. They want to use Swift if he's good to go, if he can handle a bit of a load here. Because the Bears maybe could struggle with stopping the run. Bears defense, offense going up, defense kind of going down right now. So I think the Lions offense should have a pretty good day as well. I think it's a game that can go either way. It's just which offense makes that extra play, because they're going to have a whole bunch of them. Which defense makes that one play. But I'll take the Bears at home. 27-26 is what I'm going with. This should be a tight game. Bears are favored by 3. So, yeah, we know it's going to be a tight one there. But that should be a fun one, possibly for second place in the NFC North. A lot of offense. Broncos and Titans. Got to keep an eye out for an injury of this one, too. Right before going to record this, I saw that Jeffrey Simmons, the star defensive tackle for the Titans, is in a walking boot. That's not good. It's a huge piece of that defense. That's where the defense starts, right there. They have other great players on that defense. Kevin Byard is one. But it starts with Simmons there. His ability to stop the run, get interior pressure. So if he's out, I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared for the especially the Titans -3. I'd probably, against the spread, pick the Broncos. On who I'd pick in the actual game, it's pretty damn tough. The Broncos got that rest. Titans were in an overtime battle against the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. So there's Sunday Night Football. So there is a little bit of a rest difference, obviously, there. But Broncos are also beat up. Offensive line, running back position. They do add Chase Edmonds, but no more Bradley Chubb, obviously. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Titans. I gotta see if Jeffrey Simmons plays or not. But I like both these defenses. I really like both these defenses. I think I like the Titans a little bit more, because the Broncos, very good defense. But I do think you can run the ball on them. Nothing crazy, but going against Derrick Henry, that's the difference too. You look at these defenses, great, and then what do you got on the offense? You got Derrick Henry versus that running back group here in a low-scoring game. Who's gonna win that time of possession with pounding the football? I'm gonna trust Derrick Henry here. So I go with the Titans in again, low-scoring game, 20-16. But yeah, something to monitor there is if Simmons plays or not, because that's huge for the Tennessee Titans. Big factor. Jags and Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 9.5. I could see this being closer than expected here. I can also see it being a blowout. I'm not expecting that, though. But the Jaguars get some momentum off that Raiders game there. And the Jags, even when losing, they put some good things out there. They play some good football. Lawrence has his good moments, has his bad moments, but ETN's been tearing it up as well. The defense can play. They had a couple blown coverages early against Devontae Adams, but they figured it out. They can play, so Jags might be able to put up somewhat of a battle here, and the Chiefs will be somewhat comfortable. I don't think they're going to cover that 9.5, but they'll be comfortable. Jaguars maybe trying to play keep up. Maybe the Jags should have a lead in the first half, perhaps, but I think ETN could have another big game. And the Chiefs just have a little bit more here. The Jags haven't really had to deal with a guy like Mahomes yet this year, until now. So I think that is the difference, and that's why the Chiefs should score enough points here in this one. So 27-23 is what I got. Maybe a trap game for the Chiefs, but I still have the Chiefs. Browns and Dolphins. This could be one that there's a bit of scoring here. The Dolphins have been ripping on offense. They continue to roll. And I think they continue to do that in this game. They're favored by 3.5, which is a tough one there. I mean, I could see there's a scenario in my head where the Browns come out and they pound the football with Chubb and Hunt, and it's a problem for the Dolphins, because it looks like you can move the ball on the Dolphins. And, so then the Browns are scoring off that, and then they're dominating the time of possession, making it so there's less time and less attempts for Tua in that offense. So therefore, the Browns can control the game and win the game. There's a scenario where I can see that, but the Dolphins really don't need a whole lot of time to score. They can get down the field in that pass game and the run game, really, but the pass game, with ease. So, and the Browns defense they struggled a little bit this year, maybe picking it up a little bit more recently, but I like the Dolphins, like the way they're playing, and they're at home. That's a big factor, big time home field advantage there. So I will take them once again, scoring good amount of points here and scoring 30, and I have the Browns scoring 24. The problem with the Browns here in this one, there's also a scenario where the Dolphins just come out firing and they get up 2 scores right away, and then maybe take the run game away from the Browns because the Browns don't want to waste time. They want to throw. And it's going to end up being an ass beating if that's the case. They're going to continue to grow that lead, the Dolphins, that is, if the Browns cannot run the football. So there's multiple different scenarios, but I'm confident with the Dolphins here at home, 30-24. And I do think the Browns will have some success on offense. So I'm not expecting that last scenario to happen. Texans and Giants. The Giants are favored by 5. I have them winning by 3. Xavier McKinney being out in this game could be a factor. Obviously, it's a big piece of their defense, the safety, obviously. But the Texans, another injury to monitor. Dameon Pierce saw that before going to record this too, so he's on the injury report. I'm assuming he'll play. If he's out, I'm kind of feeling the Giants covering that 5 then. Maybe win by a touchdown because that's a lot of the Texans' offense there, Dameon Pierce, but Texans play some pretty tough defense here. I mean, there's been some weeks they slipped up, but they played tougher defense than people give them credit for, or you maybe would expect. And they can control the clock. They can pound the football. The Giants' defense has been good, but you can run the ball on them. So if Pierce is out there, Texans might be able to, again, control the clock, pound it down their throats, and get some points up on the board. But the Giants are going to do the same thing. With Saquon Barkley and even Danny Dimes with his legs, Texans struggle big time stopping a run. So in New York, that'll be the difference there. So I'll go Giants 23-20, but I think because both teams really, really want to run the ball, I think they'll both be effective doing that. That means a lot of clock will be draining, which should keep it sort of low and sort of close. So Giants 23-20 is what I got. Saints and Steelers, I feel like TJ Watt's coming back this week, so that's something I kind of want to make sure, but people seem optimistic around there that he's going to play, and that's just a big, and maybe he won't go full reps, but that's just a big factor. I mean, the Steelers' defense has actually been solid, I mean, minus that Eagles game, which was their most recent. They had a bye week after then, but even look at the Dolphins game. The Dolphins been scoring 30-plus points on everyone. The Steelers, it looked like the Dolphins were going to score 30-plus points after the first drive or two, but the Steelers really locked it down there. They always play tough defense, and if they get Watt back, that is a big factor, obviously, and the Saints are coming off struggling on offense. Before that, they were pretty damn good on offense. Even when turning the ball over, they've been effective on offense, so I don't know what happened, but it looks like there's a pretty big difference when they played decent or worse defenses and good defenses, and Steelers have a good defense, especially if Watt's back. So, and the Steelers had the bye. They had the whole time to game plan for the Saints. I don't think it's much of a tricky game plan. Maybe Pickett could have one of his better games of his rookie season here. And I think Najee has a breakout game. Najee Harris, I think he has a solid game here in this one, but not a whole lot of scoring. I think a lot of defense. I'm going to trust the Steelers' defense. And they get a turnover or two. Get after the quarterback, so the Ravens were able to get after the quarterback at a high level. I think if Watt's in there, he does it. Him and Highsmith. So I'm feeling the Steelers at home off the bye on this one, 19-17, and they're underdogs by 2.5. Colts and Raiders. Yeah, tricky one because we don't know how the Colts are going to be hiring Jeff Saturday as their head coach. How the players feeling, how the other coach is feeling. Jonathan Taylor could be back this week. So that could be a factor. I still do like the Colts defense, but the Raiders just have more. They just have a little bit more. I mean, we haven't really seen it for a full game, but last game was so bad that comeback they allowed, especially how great they played early on in that game, that I think maybe figure it out here in a game like this. Run the ball to Jacobs a bit more. I think Jacobs has a good day. And then it looks like you can get a lot of pressure on Ellinger, and that can cause some problems. So I think Max Crosby also has a day. I think the Raiders just have a few more of those takeover type players, those stud players. So I'll take the Raiders at home, 24-20. The Raiders are favored by 6. This could end up being similar to the Patriots game, where the Patriots end up beating the Colts' ass, quite a bit there. But it's not the Patriots defense over there, though. Talking about the Raiders. So the Colts should be able to get some points up on the board. Maybe some fire, coaching change. Sometimes we see that from players. So 24-20 Raiders what I got. Cowboys and Packers. I have the Cowboys covering that 5. The Packers really been struggling on offense. Cowboys got the best defense in football. Do they even score 17? I think Rodgers could, bouncing back a little bit after a very bad game for him. I think he can make a couple clutch plays, but even if he plays great, I don't think they can score much more than 17, against that defense, because they've been struggling as well. The Packers offense has been struggling as well. And the Cowboys will do enough offensively, so I have them winning 26-17. Big factor here is injuries piling up now for the Packers. Big one really being Rashawn Gary, so the lack of pressure on Dak, and it looks like you can run the ball on the Packers as well, so then they'll be able to run the ball, they'll be able to throw the ball. manage the clock, win on defense. So I got the Cowboys covering that one in Green Bay. Wild that the Packers could be on a 6-game losing streak after this. Cardinals and Rams. I don't know what's going on with this game because both quarterbacks might be out, or one might be, or neither might be, could be. So, but Matthew Stafford today was entered, or actually ended up being Tuesday, yesterday, but they announced it today that he was entered in the concussion protocol, from the game, but they didn't notice the symptoms until now. Usually when players are in concussion protocol this late, especially entering this late, they don't play. But then again, nothing really bad happened in the game, so maybe he think he'd be able to clear and be able to play. So it's really up in the air if Stafford will play or not. Then Kyler Murray was just on the injury report today and did not practice because of a hamstring issue. It's not supposed to be a major hamstring issue, but hamstrings are annoying, and you can be out even longer if you try to play on it. So Kyler Murray might not play, and it's just popping up out of nowhere now either as well. So this one's very tricky. I actually made the score prediction with Stafford versus Murray in mind, and I was going to go Rams 24-20. I'm all over the place. I was originally going to go Cardinals in this game, but then Buda Baker was announced out. So I ended up going with the Rams mainly because of that, and then had him winning 24-20. But then Stafford, it didn't feel like maybe he wouldn't play, so then I was going to lean Cardinals. But then it came out not too much longer after that Murray might not play, so I was kind of in the middle there. I was kind of back to the Rams, but I'm thinking it's Colt McCoy versus Walford, though. I had a little more trust in Colt McCoy. If they're both out, I'd probably go Cardinals, actually, but that's why this one I wouldn't put any money on. This is very difficult. I was trying to wait as long as I could to do this video, but we usually get it. It's already usually out by now. So I wanted to put this out there. This was my score prediction with both starting quarterbacks playing, which could end up being the case. So we'll keep you updated. We always keep you updated on Twitter with this one, but I would not throw money at if you're very confident. Because your guess is as good as mine. I think who's going to play, who's not. Sometimes I try to predict who this guy's going to play with injury. I'm not really good with the injury, but I do know things like hamstrings. People don't realize they can keep players out longer than expected. Because it's one of those things where it just doesn't go away, especially if you don't rest it, and you can make things worse. So it goes for a lot of injuries, but hamstrings are annoying, and that's what Kyler Murray's dealing with. So it's a little tricky right now. We'll keep you updated on that one, but a lot of injuries. I mean, the injury report in general was just very, very long, especially for the Cardinals. The Sunday night football game, I'm pretty confident with the 49ers in this one. I got them winning by a good amount. Got them winning by 10. They're getting very healthy off the bye week. Shouldn't say very healthy, but compared to what they were, they're getting healthier for sure. So I love that defense when it's healthy. The Chargers haven't really been right on offense. And it's mainly due to, they're the most beat up team in football right now. It's mainly due because of that. So the 49ers should be able to get pressure on Herbert. They should be able to lock those limited receivers down, kind of focus on Eckler. And there are times where the Chargers are extremely underwhelming on offense. And I think it could be, Sunday night, while beat up in San Francisco. The best defensive football, one of the best defensive football. So I don't expect the Chargers to score a whole lot. I know Herbert, big fan of Herbert. I think he's capable of anything with anybody out there. We saw him get clutch at the end of that Falcons game, but it's going to be a tough task here in this one. And the 49ers, just with that break, being able to game plan for the Chargers, this is a great matchup for them at home, prime time. Chargers are known for being physical, more physical than their opponent, pounding the football. Chargers really struggle against that. They really struggle to stop the run. So I think McCaffrey and company could have a day. I think Garoppolo will be fine throwing through the air too. Samuel should be back. He should get some good action. It's a very difficult matchup for the LA Chargers, being beat up, being away, prime time, and just where the strengths and weaknesses like the matchup are. So I'm pretty damn confident with the 49ers in this one. 27-17 is what I got. And then Monday Night Football, Eagles home again on Monday night. I have them winning by 7. It's just so difficult to stay undefeated in this league. The Eagles continue to do it, and I have them continue to do it, but things could possibly be interesting for that reason. Commanders are playing a lot better. I'd say football in general. I was going to say defense, a lot better defense, but in general, they just feel like a better football team than they were earlier in the year. The defense is playing solid, so maybe There's a little bit more of a game plan for the Eagles offense right now. Not a whole lot better league-wide, but it's a little better now than it was earlier in the year. But then the Commanders get the second crack at it, and they're just playing better in general right now. They could get Chase Young back, so they can hold the Eagles at 24. Not that that's little or anything. And the Commanders, I have them scoring 17, so it's still a tough task. In Philly, Monday night, Eagles are, to me, better on both sides of the box. But the Commanders been playing insane defense lately. So it's just really tough. 11 spread is looking a bit much. I know the last game they played, it was that game was over from the start. It was Eagles could have scored even more than that if they wanted to. So it was an absolute beatdown. But so that's probably why the line's like that. I think it stays a little closer here though. But it is in Philly. Philly home prime time. They like to beat up teams doing that, so we'll see. And then kind of recap against the spread, hoping a little better than last week. Last week was a weird, very strange week, obviously. But the Falcons, I had -3, but that's going to be a close one. But when talking about the spread, Seahawks, I like +3. I have them winning the game. They're +3. If they do lose, it's a push. Worst case, I think. Vikings +4. This is factoring in if Josh Allen is out. I almost still like that because again, if Josh Allen is in, I'm not picking the Vikings to win, but they might be able to keep that a 3-point game. Lions +3, which I could see that pushing as well. I could see the Bears covering, but I could see it pushing, but I have a very tight. I could see the Lions winning that game, so I felt more comfortable going them +3. Titans -3. I'd keep an eye out for Jeffrey Simmons injury. If he is out, I may still go Titans straight up, but -3 might be a little tough. Jaguars +9.5. That's a tricky one too, because I could see a scenario where the Chiefs just blow them out. But I think the Jags could be sneaky. 9.5 seems like a lot. Jags are actually playing decent football, even when they lose. So +9.5 seems like too much. Dolphins -3.5, which that's a tough one too, because I can see it being a 3-point game. But I have the Dolphins covering that one. Texans +5. Yeah, keep an eye out for Dameon Pierce. If he is out, I just stay away. But actually, if he's in, I kind of like that Texans +5 because I think they have a shot to win the game. I'm not counting on it, but I think it should just stay tight because both teams will run the shit out of the ball. Steelers, I like +2.5. If that was 3, I would love it. I'd feel a lot more comfortable, obviously, because that field goal. But I have the Steelers winning with TJ Watt playing if he plays, which I expect him to. So I like the Steelers in that one. Colts +6. They should be good with that one, but if they just can't score again and they just have too much pressure to deal with, or allowing too much pressure on Ellinger, then they might get blown out again. So that's tough. But +6 does look pretty decent. Cowboys -5. Rams, it just really depends. Rams, Cardinals, as of right now, I have the -3 because I have winning by 4. I just don't touch that one. Do not put money on that one. 49ers -7. I really like that matchup for them at home. And the Commanders +11. I think it's just a little bit too much for me to take the Eagles -11. So those are my against the spread picks. You can pause the video, take a look at them, screenshot, whatever you're feeling there. Yeah, it should be a very interesting week. There's a lot of things that are kind of up in the air. A lot of these games really close. A lot of close scores I had, and a lot of injuries that we just really don't know about right now. So it's a little annoying, to be honest. But yeah, it should be an interesting week. And we have you covered with all the NFL coverage here. So check us out. Like, subscribe to Notifications on. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Very important for updates. From my picks, my thoughts on everything, injury updates, rumors, talking during live games. So make sure you follow that Twitter. There's a link pinned in the comments down there as well as some other important links. So check it out. That's going to do it, though. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.